Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel.
Hello and welcome back to ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel. Today we will learn about the gripping developments unfolding in Port Charles for Tuesday, November 11th. In a series of intense confrontations and secretive schemes, characters navigate loyalty, suspicion, and high-stakes plots that could reshape their lives forever. Brooke Lynn Quartermaine stands on the sun-drenched deck of the Quartermaine mansion, her expression a mix of determination and vulnerability as she faces Dante Falconeri. She implores him earnestly, seeking a solemn promise that a delicate matter remains strictly confidential between them, shielded from prying ears. This plea likely stems from her growing unease regarding her husband, Harrison Chase, whose unwavering dedication to his ex, Willow Tate, appears to eclipse his commitments to their budding marriage. Observers have noted how Chase's preoccupation with Willow's mounting legal troubles seems to draw him away, fostering doubts in Brooke Lynn's mind about where his true priorities lie. Yet, she guards these feelings closely, unwilling to burden him directly. Instead, she turns to Dante, a trusted ally and his partner, who can empathize deeply. Dante, having witnessed Anna Devane's pointed concerns about Chase's potential bias toward Willow during crucial investigations, nods in understanding. Recognizing the emotional tightrope Brooke Lynn walks in preserving harmony at home while grappling with these insecurities. Meanwhile, tension simmers at the bustling General Hospital where Isaiah Gannon, visibly anxious, corners Portia Robinson in a quiet corridor. His voice laced with urgency as he questions whether they should proactively approach the authorities to clarify their whereabouts and dispel any lingering suspicions. Portia's face tightens with apprehension, her mind racing back to the moment Felicia Scorpio relayed critical details to Alexis Davis about her professional schedule on the night Drew Kane was viciously attacked. The revelation that Felicia had pieced together Portia's timeline threatens to unravel their private rendezvous that evening. A stolen interlude of passion far removed from the sterile confines of the hospital. Portia dreads the courtroom scrutiny that could expose their intimate affair, tainting her in an unflattering light and complicating her professional reputation. Explaining their off-site encounter without raising more red flags poses a formidable challenge. It could inadvertently spotlight inconsistencies in her alibi, forcing her to juggle personal secrets with the demands of justice, all while fearing the ripple effects on her career and relationships in the tight-knit Port Charles community. Across town, at the vibrant Port Charles University, a clandestine alliance forms between the resourceful Gio Palmieri and the determined Emma Scorpio Drake, who huddle in hushed tones, mapping out their audacious plan to infiltrate the enigmatic Professor Henry Dalton's high-security lab under the cover of night. Gio, with a spark of excitement in his eyes, declares that the upcoming mayoral debate represents an unparalleled opportunity, as the event's chaos complete with throngs of attendees, blaring speeches, and heightened security focused solely on the political figures will provide the perfect diversion for their mission. Undeterred by previous failures, where neither Emma nor her ally Rocco Falconeri managed to secure Britt Westburn's elusive lab keys, the duo brainstorms alternative entry points with inventive flair. They speculate that if Britt possesses access, so might university guards patrolling the grounds, or perhaps Dalton himself, who could harbor a spare in his office drawer amid stacks of research notes. Even the unassuming janitorial staff, tasked with nightly cleanings of beakers, microscopes, and confidential files, must carry master keys, offering a potential weak link in the fortress-like setup. This plot underscores their relentless pursuit of whatever secrets lurk within the lab, perhaps groundbreaking medical discoveries or hidden evidence tied to broader mysteries, highlighting the youthful ingenuity and risk-taking spirit that defines their characters in the face of institutional barriers. Deep within the foreboding walls of Pentonville Prison, Alexis Davis arrives for a poignant visit with her client Willow Tate. Her demeanor a blend of calculated optimism and fierce advocacy as she shares tidbits of potentially liberating news. She reveals that the investigation into Drew Kane's shooting has expanded, introducing a broader pool of suspects that could dilute the focus on Willow and open doors to alternative narratives. Even if Michael Corinthos isn't the true perpetrator, Alexis argues, The absence of a solid alibi for Portia Robinson during the critical hour might inadvertently bolster Willow's defense by shifting scrutiny elsewhere. This strategic maneuver isn't mere speculation. Alexis, with her sharp legal acumen honed over years of courtroom battles, views Portia as a credible alternative suspect, evidenced by her probing into timelines and motives that align suspiciously with the crime scene. At the heart of her drive lies a personal stake. Access to her cherished granddaughter, Scout Quartermain, hangs in the balance. Failure to exonerate Willow from these attempted murder charges could sever family bonds irreparably, fueling Alexis's resolve to dismantle the prosecution's case piece by piece. Weaving out through witness testimonies and forensic gaps to reclaim Willow's freedom and preserve their lineage's unity. In a sunlit corner of a cozy cafe, Nina Reeves engages in a charged conversation with Drew Cain. Her words dripping with calculated intrigue as she dismisses the notion of eliminating a certain individual, insisting that Michael Corinthos will handle the task himself. The mysterious her they reference eludes immediate clarity, but speculation swirls around Jacinda Bracken, Drew's purported alibi, who has proven steadfastly loyal to Michael, rebuffing any attempts at bribery or coercion. Their dialogue hints at a darker conspiracy, perhaps plotting to neutralize Jacinda's testimony through sabotage or fabrication, thereby implicating Michael in a web of deceit that mirrors Drew's own frustrations in pinning his shooting on his rival. Alternatively, her could allude to another shadowy figure entangled in the unfolding drama, such as a whistleblower or rival operative whose existence threatens their narratives. This exchange reveals Nina's manipulative prowess, leveraging her media influence and personal vendettas to steer events. While Drew's desperation stemming from his physical recovery and emotional scars pushes him toward increasingly unethical alliances, testing the moral boundaries of power and revenge in Port Charles. Finally, in the dimly lit backroom of a nondescript warehouse, Sonny Corinthos leans in close to his son Michael, his gravelly voice underscoring the imperative to resolve their predicament swiftly and decisively, emphasizing that they must make this go away, now before it spirals further. Sonny's directive targets the looming attempted murder charge that could ensnare Michael, particularly if Willow Tate and Drew Cain succeed in unraveling the carefully constructed alibis and planting seeds of doubt in the investigators' minds. Willow, already harboring convictions that Michael orchestrated her setup by concealing the weapon in her quarters at Elizabeth Baldwin's residence, amplifies the family's internal fractures. The weapon in question, a relic from Edward Quartermain's collection, poses intriguing logistical puzzles for Alexis's budding case against Portia. Acquiring such a specific firearm would demand insider knowledge or opportunistic theft, details that could either exonerate or condemn depending on emerging evidence. Unaware of these specifics when he first floated Portia as a diversionary suspect, Sonny presses Michael for updates, probing whether the younger Corinthos will disclose the gun's provenance now, potentially altering their defensive strategy amid the relentless pursuit of truth and self-preservation that defines their criminal legacy. Next, we will learn about the escalating tensions in Port Charles as Laura Collins confronts a ruthless assault on her mayoral authority, and Ava Jerome steps into a shadowy partnership with the enigmatic Jen Sidwell. The drama unfolds on November 7th, pulling the entire town into a web of political intrigue and personal vendettas that promise to reshape alliances and shatter reputations. Port Charles has always been a hotbed of secrets and power struggles, but this latest chapter elevates the stakes to unprecedented heights, forcing beloved characters to navigate treacherous waters where loyalty is tested and betrayal lurks around every corner. Laura Collins, the steadfast mayor known for her unyielding commitment to justice, encounters a profound professional crisis that threatens to dismantle her legacy in City Hall. This isn't merely a bump in the road, it's a meticulously engineered ambush designed to exploit her deepest convictions and isolate her from key supporters. Drawing from her history of triumphing over formidable foes like the Casadines, Laura's resolve shines through even as the pressure mounts. But the coordinated attacks from Jen Sidwell's operatives reveal a sophistication that rivals any past conspiracy. Sidwell, with his polished demeanor masking a calculating mind, has assembled a network of influencers who operate in the shadows, whispering doubts and fabricating scandals to erode public trust in Laura's leadership. This assault begins with leaked documents and anonymous tips to the press, painting Laura as overly protective of private interests at the expense of broader community needs. A narrative that gains traction amid the town's ongoing economic anxieties. At the heart of this turmoil lies the contentious battle over the McConkey Esplanade, a sprawling waterfront development project that symbolizes Port Charles' future prosperity or its potential downfall. What started as a straightforward urban renewal initiative has morphed into a high-stakes chess game, where Sidwell's proxies, including the opportunistic Drew Kane and the shadowy Ezra Boyle, maneuver to corner Laura into an impossible dilemma. Drew, once a figure of integrity tied to the Quartermaine legacy, has undergone a startling transformation, aligning himself with Sidwell's agenda through a series of undisclosed financial incentives that blur the lines between ambition and corruption. His involvement adds a layer of betrayal that stings deeply, as Laura had previously viewed him as an ally in fostering ethical governance. Ezra Boyle, Sidwell's longtime enforcer with a reputation for ruthless deal-making, amplifies the threat by mobilizing legal challenges and public hearings that demand Laura justify her stance on the Esplanade, framing it as favoritism toward influential locals rather than prudent oversight. This controversy isn't accidental. It's the culmination of months of groundwork laid since spring, when initial whispers of redevelopment first surfaced, allowing Sidwell's team to build a case that now explodes into full view, forcing Laura to defend not just her policies, but her very character. Protecting Sonny Corinthos' waterfront holdings emerges as the pivotal flashpoint, a decision that underscores Laura's role as the city's ethical guardian amid encroaching corporate greed. Sonny's property, ostensibly a hub for international coffee imports, serves as the nerve center for his extensive business network, blending legitimate commerce with the undercurrents of Port Charles' underworld dynamics. By shielding it from Sidwell's aggressive acquisition tactics, Laura prevents a domino effect that could cascade through the economy, empowering an outsider to dictate terms on everything from shipping routes to local employment. Sidwell's vision for the Esplanade involves luxury high-rises and commercial complexes that would displace small businesses and alter the harbor's historic charm. A plan Laura views as predatory exploitation disguised as progress. Her advocacy here draws from personal experience. Having witnessed how unchecked power grabs nearly destroyed the town in the past, she prioritizes community safeguards over short-term gains, even if it invites accusations of cronyism. Yet, this stance comes at a steep price, as Sidwell's proxies leverage it to launch impeachment proceedings and opinion polls that show Laura's approval ratings plummeting, creating a perfect storm of media frenzy and voter disillusionment. Amid the chaos, a surprising revelation about Jordan Ashford's involvement adds intrigue and hints at deeper strategies at play within Laura's inner circle. Earlier reports suggested Jordan had defected to Sidwell's camp in a move that shocked observers. But a clandestine August 7th meeting between the two women unveils the truth. Jordan is executing a bold undercover mission, infiltrating the enemy's ranks to gather critical intelligence. This operation, masterminded by Laura herself, transforms what appeared as disloyalty into a testament to their unbreakable bond and shared dedication to Port Charles' safety. Jordan, with her background in law enforcement and sharp instincts, poses as a willing recruit, attending Sidwell's strategy sessions and documenting every illicit scheme, from bribery attempts to zoning manipulations. The risks are immense. Discovery could endanger her life and expose the entire ploy, but it positions them to strike back with evidence that could unravel Sidwell's empire from within. Laura's orchestration of this double-agent tactic demonstrates her strategic brilliance, outmaneuvering opponents who underestimate the depth of female solidarity in a male-dominated political arena. As Laura's public image falters under the onslaught, Ava Jerome's bold maneuver into Sidwell's orbit introduces a volatile dynamic that could tip the scales toward total anarchy. On November 7th, Ava, ever the survivor with a knack for opportunistic alliances, catches Sidwell's eye during a tense negotiation, earning his tentative trust through her insider knowledge of Port Charles' power players. This partnership isn't born of ideology, but necessity. Locked in a bitter custody dispute over her daughter Avery with Sonny, Ava seeks leverage to outflank her ex-husband, viewing Sidwell's resources as the perfect weapon. Sidwell, intrigued by Ava's unfiltered candor and her history of navigating scandals from art gallery intrigues to Family Feud, sees her as a valuable asset, offering financial backing and legal muscle in exchange for her assistance in pressuring Sonny's vulnerabilities. Their collaboration might extend to more sinister pursuits, including Sidwell's rumored explorations into psychological influence tactics, which could amplify Ava's manipulative tendencies into something far more destructive. Together, they form a duo reminiscent of classic soap opera villains, blending Ava's emotional volatility with Sidwell's cold precision to target not just Sonny's assets, but his entire support system. The potential ramifications of Ava's alliance ripple far beyond the waterfront, potentially accelerating Laura's ousting while providing Sidwell with unparalleled access to sensitive information. Ava's intimate familiarity with Sonny's operations, from his daily routines to hidden safe houses, equips her to guide Sidwell's incursions, perhaps even sabotaging security measures around the Esplanade to facilitate a takeover. This isn't Ava's first foray into dangerous pacts. Her past entanglements with figures like Ryan Chamberlain highlight a pattern of choosing self-preservation over morality. But teaming with Sidwell elevates the peril, as his global connections could drag Port Charles into international scandals. For Laura, this development complicates her defense, as Ava's involvement muddies the waters between political maneuvering and personal grudges, forcing the mayor to rally unlikely allies like Carly Spencer or even elements within the Corinthos organization to counter the threat. Speculation abounds that Sidwell's interest in mind control research whispers of experimental programs aimed at swaying public opinion might intersect with Ava's quest for custody, creating ethical nightmares that test the town's moral fabric. Yet, beneath the surface of apparent defeat, Laura's predicament may conceal a calculated sacrifice aimed at ensnaring Sidwell in his own web. By allowing her setback to play out publicly, Laura could be baiting the villain into overconfidence, using Jordan's embedded role to funnel damning proof directly to authorities. This approach echoes Laura's storied victories against titans like Mikos and Victor Casadini, where she turned personal losses into communal triumphs through patience and foresight. The writers seem poised to reward her gambit, with Jordan's intel potentially exposing Sidwell's funding sources tied to offshore accounts and questionable lobbying firms that could lead to federal investigations. In this scenario, Laura's temporary loss of the mayoralty becomes the spark for a broader reckoning, uniting fractured factions in Port Charles against a common foe. Ava's alliance, while formidable, might fracture under the weight of mutual distrust, as Sidwell's endgame prioritizes dominance over Ava's familial goals, setting the stage for internal betrayals that hasten their collapse. Ultimately, the convergence of these plotlines crafts a narrative of resilience amid deception, where Port Charles' fate hinges on the interplay of hidden agendas and bold countermeasures. Laura's ordeal, far from a mere downfall, embodies the enduring spirit that has defined her character across decades, inspiring viewers to root for her comeback. As Sidwell's schemes intensify, the alliance with Ava adds layers of unpredictability, but Jordan's covert efforts ensure that hope persists in the shadows. Stay tuned for how these threads intertwine, promising twists that will keep the drama electrifying in the weeks ahead.
Thanks for watching, guys. See you soon. Bye.